just allowed me to get to know myself so much better than I ever had. And it allowed me to become comfortable and confident with what I found when I became more acquainted with myself.
Hey everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of Entering Motherhood, a podcast dedicated specifically to new moms going through this amazing journey in life. I'm your host, Sarah Bilger, a postpartum nutritional coach / mechanical engineer. And as always, I'm so excited to be here with you and share all of the information I've been lucky enough to obtain since becoming a mom. In this episode, we speak with Angela Mattingly about mindfulness and yoga in motherhood, and there is also a guided meditation at the end for you to follow along with. Hi, and welcome to Entering Motherhood. I'm so happy to have you here and to learn about mindfulness for mothers and everything that you're doing.
Yes,
So,
thank you. Thank you. Would you like me to introduce myself?
yeah,
And
if you want to go
okay,
ahead and just tell us a little bit about yourself, like what you do now, what led you there, being a mom, all your kids, all that fun stuff. So,
absolutely. Well, yes, thanks so much, Sarah. I'm thrilled to be on Entering Motherhood. And my name is Angela Mattingly, and I'm the creator and yoga teacher behind Feel at Home Yoga. And Feel at Home is my passion project. It started a couple years ago, and it has kind of evolved from in-home private yoga classes to an online mindfulness program. So I mentioned that, I don't know if I mentioned that I'm a mom, but I think you did. And I have two kids. So I have a 3-year-old Lila and a 4-month-old James, who only you can see him, but he's here with us today. So um, I I live in Minnesota, and my husband and two kids and I live here. And my my business started after Lila was born. So I was a nurse, and I started yoga kind of after college, like a lot of people do, for the physical side of it, like it makes a good workout, and it does. Um but what really transformed me as a person, and especially as a mom, was the meditation and mindfulness side of it. So after Lila was born, like I said, 3 years ago, I ended up going through postpartum anxiety and depression. And I think, you know, it it came about in the form of panic attacks, for me, which I know, there are so many different ways that people suffer from postpartum anxiety and depression. But I would be strolling through Target, and then all of a sudden I'd feel like dizzy and lightheaded, and I went through all the doctor's appointments to rule out anything. And it it ended up being anxiety attacks. And I think the root of that was becoming a mom and feeling like I had to have everything figured out. Like what I what kind of mom I want to be, what I want to teach my kids, what my priorities are in my life. And I think that deep down that was kind of stressing me out, which I know you're a mom, maybe you can relate to that a little bit. And so I think that sort of took its toll on me. And I was practicing yoga, and I really kind of ramped up my practice at the time. And I realized that it's so much more than a good workout. It was moments of stillness at the beginning and at the end, especially where you just learn to pause and be with yourself. Um, that allowed me to really pay attention to what was causing my anxiety, and then answering those questions that were causing the anxiety. Like, what do I really want in life? Which is a huge question. But um yoga helped me answer that. And once my son James was born, the postpartum anxiety kind of took a different form, where it was tons of mom guilt over, is my older daughter still getting a bunch of attention? And, my relationship with my husband changed again just because we brought in another baby. And so again, I turned to the mindfulness and meditation side of yoga, and it just helps me come get back in touch with my priorities, and allow me to really be present with my kids, because always throughout all of my questions and anxieties, it's always that I just want to be with my kids and really soak up those moments with them. So, this is a long answer to your question, but I feel like a lot of mothers can relate to wanting to be present with their kids and find some peace with themselves, and get to know themselves well. And I wanted to share my expertise with other moms who are looking for that, because I went through a 200-hour yoga teacher training program so that I could help give these benefits to other moms.
Yeah, that's awesome and that's amazing. And I feel like so many people are going to be able to relate to that feeling because that's something that I went through too. I had to put Rosie back, well, start her in daycare at 9 weeks old. And I wanted nothing more than to just be with her and be by her side. And I was constantly struggling between like having to focus at work and wanting to be home as a mom and really just balancing that. And I have liked yoga like since I think I started doing it in college, just like you said, like for exercise and routine and just doing that. And I totally feel like taking that time for yourself and just being present in that moment allows you to be more present with your kids when you're with them. And really that self-care and self-regulating helps so much. So I'm super excited for what you're doing and the steps that you're taking to help moms in that aspect. So
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I think it's exactly what you said, where as moms, our heads are so full of not only the job that you have to go and do, or the house you have to take care of, or all these tasks that you have to do. But then our mind is filled with guilt, and should I be am I reading enough books? Am I spending enough time with them? Am I feeding them the right foods? It's like our minds are just racing, racing, racing. And I wanted to create a program that could help moms sort through that and just prioritize, or maybe not even prioritize, but just what you're doing in that moment, just be all there. Just be all present, whatever you're doing.
yeah, yeah, I love that. And then so you just had a little 5-day challenge going
Yes, I
on.
did.
I
I
saw
did.
that. How
Yes.
was that? And what did you like the most, I guess, doing that? And
Yes. I
James is getting hungry.
Yes, he is. Which, I knew he would time it up right for us here. Um But yes, I did a 5-day mindful momming challenge, and the challenge was meant to be a little taste of what the full 6-week mindfulness for moms program is going to be. So in the challenge, we did a daily 5-minute exercise in mindfulness. And that was whether it was a yoga stretch or a breath exercise or a guided meditation. We did one thing like that every day. And then I had a little homework assignment for the moms, the members in the group to take part in. For example, they could choose between two things. Like one day you could either go for a walk without listening to anything, like just being outside by yourself, or you could have a dance party in the kitchen with your kids. So it was kind of a nice way to like just bring that mindfulness and that fun into your daily life because it doesn't need to be mindfulness doesn't need to be like a move to an ashram where you're like quiet for months. And so the challenge aimed to incorporate some mindfulness into their daily lives, and it was really fun to see, like, hear what song people chose to dance to, or what it was during a super cold snap in Minnesota, and some people like still went out for a walk even though it was 20 below outside. It was like, oh my gosh, hats off to you. That's a really cool mindfulness challenge to walk in the cold, and they did it. So yeah, so it was a little taste of what the full 6-week program will be, which is going to be daily mindfulness exercises along with a private group, much like the challenge group was, where you can get support and encouragement and commiseration sometimes when it's like, I'm going crazy here with bath time or whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I think sometimes all we need is that little bit of support and kind of coming together and, even just giving a silly little thing like, hey, dance with your kids, like making it a fun activity that gets you moving and having somebody like you to guide them through that process is huge because a lot of the times I feel like we just get stuck on, well, what should I do or what can I do? And you are giving moms that opportunity to really focus their attention to something that's going to be beneficial for them and their kids and their whole family. Like when mom's happy, when mom's in a good mood, I think the whole family's functioning better. And
Totally. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's important for me to show just exactly what I learned, that it doesn't have to be that serious. I mean, it's super helpful to go through a guided meditation or to take some deep belly breaths, but you can also be present with your kids, dancing with them in the kitchen. Like, you bring those skills that you develop in a formal practice into that dance party, or even just reading a book with them or whatever, where it's like, okay, I'm putting my phone away and we're just gonna read a book.
yeah,
I think that's where the transformation happens.
yeah, I love that. And so when is your course starting?
So the program starts on May 3rd. It's a Monday, and it's designed for 6 weeks. So 6 weeks starting May 3rd, but it's also one that you can pace yourself, take it at your own pace. So on May 3rd, you'll have access to the whole program to do it at whatever pace you'd like to. So you'll have access longer than 6 weeks, but that access is granted on May 3rd. And as I invite anyone to follow me on Instagram at Feel at Home Yoga, and that'll have all the up to date information on when exactly it'll be.
Do you know what the 6 weeks are going to look like, or do you have an idea of what you're going to be focusing on every week during the program?
Yes. Yes, I love that question. So, when this idea the idea for this program popped into my head when I was nursing James in the early days when you're nursing them like nonstop. And my neck was so sore. I was like, my neck is so sore. It's taking away from this present moment, right? Where I can't even be with James because my neck's so dang sore. It was like, what if I created a program for moms that could release some physical tension and also bring in some mindfulness, all in the effort of being present with our kids. So you ask, like, does each week focus on something? So each week does focus on a specific area of the body. So the first week focuses on the neck, hence, because it was my original inspiration. So every day has a mindfulness exercise, and that's 5 days a week. So it's not on the weekends. But the first week focuses on the neck. So we'll have 3 days of yoga stretches and flows and restorative poses that focus on opening up the neck, relieving tension in the neck. And then we also will have the 2 other days. One day is a breathing exercise, and the other day is a guided meditation, and that'll help us focus on, again, relieving that tension in the neck, but then also getting into some more mindful, focuses that complement relieving tension in the neck as well. And I tried to focus on areas of the body that moms can be have a lot of tension in. So, one week is hips, another is the lower back, another is the shoulders. Um, so I think that it's nice. It's nice to focus on those areas, and then anyone who's in the program, you have the ability to go back and play any of the videos whenever you want. I mean, you could even watch 3 of them in a row and basically have a full yoga class right there to tap into different areas of the body. So hopefully
I love
that
that.
makes sense.
So all that course material will be available for them as long as they'd like.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
great. That's so
Yeah,
exciting.
it's set up like a 6-week program, but it's available for you to do it however you like. If
Okay.
you once you sign up. So, you can follow along, one day at a time, but I'm a mom, I get how things can be, so you can make it up, take 2 of the videos on some day or whatever. You can do it at your own pace. All
Yeah. That's great. And so, like, is there going to be any? I know that you had a Facebook group for the 5 day challenge. Is there going to be a group where moms can get together and have support that way, or are you doing live portions of it?
Yes, so I am there is going to be a new Facebook group. So the the first program, well, there are 10 spots available. And so the Facebook group will be just for the 10 students and me. And at the end of each week, I will, some of them will be live, some of them will be pre recorded, but I'll do a full length yoga class, of like an hour long yoga class each week. And that will go into the Facebook group, especially if it's live, but it'll be available to replay whenever. And I will do weekly check-ins, help initiate some discussion or, giving some little tips for moms at least once a week. And I'm always going to be in there if people have specific questions or anything like that.
Awesome. That sounds so exciting.
Thank you. Thank you. I just hope I'm describing it well.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, I've done yoga, so I think like I can kind of like visualize what that aspect is going to be like, and
Mhm.
then I think a lot of people are familiar with Facebook and how Facebook groups work and stuff. So I think that's like really tying those two things together.
Yeah, I'd say the biggest components are the daily mindfulness exercises, whether they're yoga, breath work, or guided meditation, and then the weekly full length yoga classes that tie together all those pieces from the week before. And then the guest experts, the conversations with them, they'll bring lots of good value to moms. And then the private Facebook group too, where you have basically the one-on-one coaching with me. If it's like I did this day's exercise and I had problems with this, or
So
yeah,
is every member of the group get one-on-one coaching with you throughout the week, or is that additional?
they don't get a session, but it feels like it almost in the group, just because that's part of why I keep the number at 10 so that I can be super involved and supportive if they have questions.
Yeah. Is this for any mom, or I mean, like this podcast specifically, I like to focus on those early years of motherhood, like initial postpartum, but some other moms definitely listen in, and I think the information is vital for even women's health in general. But do you hope for a specific age of children for the moms, or even?
Yeah, it's open to any aged mom. I mean, even I have a grandmother who was in the challenge, and she really enjoyed it. I also have one of my friends has claimed one of the spots already, so we have 9 spots left now. But she's a nanny, so she doesn't have any kids of her own, but she is a nanny and still wants that mindfulness benefit. Um, you know, I do focus on toddlers and newborns, like I mentioned with feeding and having a sore neck and like those parts of the body that are bothering moms with younger kids. But, I think it's applicable no matter what age your kids are. We all want to be present with our kids no matter how old they are. So,
Yeah,
it's open, totally open.
that's so exciting.
I can't wait. I'm really, really excited to get it out into the world.
So, do you have any specific kind of, like, when somebody says, "Well, what are the benefits of yoga?" or "Why would I want to do yoga?" Other than what we've been touching on, the mindfulness and being present, really focusing, things like that. Why else? What are kind of like your go-to convincing arguments of why everybody should be doing
You
yoga?
Yes. Well, it certainly does have physical benefits. So it increases your flexibility and your strength, and it helps relieve tension. So physically, those are incredible benefits, in my opinion, that alone are reason enough to do it. Like I said, that's why I started. But the the mindfulness side of it, yes, it helps you be present with your kids, but it also helps you find an inner peace in a not to sound cliche by saying inner peace, but it just allowed me to get to know myself so much better than I ever had. And it allowed me to become comfortable and confident with what I found when I became more acquainted with myself. It allows me to accept things just as they are. I mean, it it allows you to find ways that you want to react to things, but it also allows you to acknowledge like when you don't have control over them and you need to just accept. So it gives you a sense of acceptance, and that also helps you find more of that peace that I keep mentioning.
Yeah, I love that. I really feel like acceptance is such a word that keeps coming up for me too. And it's not so much accepting kind of like, oh, this is how it is. Like, I'm just accepting this, but like truly kind of being, like you said, at peace and accepting, like, okay, this is out of my control, but this I can like work on and this I can make better or, improve upon. And so I think when we kind of perceive it differently. Like acceptance does not have to mean like I'm going to lay over and just like accept whatever happens, but more so, accepting where you're at and what has come into your life and appreciating that acceptance of it.
Yeah, I mean, if you do I could share an example, if you don't
Yeah.
mind, of where this has been super helpful to me as a mom. My 3-year-old has become a three-nager. Like, her attitude has increased slightly. I'm sure it has something to do with bringing a new baby into the family, all of that. Um, but bath time has become a battle, and I had been catching myself just getting so frustrated and getting short with her and impatient with her because we all are tired and we all need to go to bed, and I wish she would just get out of the tub when I say it's time, yada yada. Um, and I finally, after a couple days of this repeated battle, it was just like, you know, she's 3, and there are underlying reasons why she's, having these tantrums related to bath time. But I mean, I can work on those root reasons, but right now, while she's freaking out in the bathtub, like, it's just not I can't change it, and so I need to just keep myself grounded and just accept that this is a tantrum. And I just need to let it ride, and just having the capability to stop and pause helps me stay calm, helps me not get short and impatient. If it's just like, "You know what? This isn't gonna change right now. Yes, there are things I can work on to help this tomorrow, but it's not gonna change." So, that just helps me keep better a clear head to stay calm with her in the middle of that tantrum, which only helps it, right? So, that's been the acceptance that I gained from yoga has been super helpful.
Yeah, I love that. That's a great example. And really just kind of, not trying to control the situation and just kind of falling into what now is motherhood and kind of, all right, I have these these little children running around or so be it and they're going to do what they want to do,
Exactly. Or
And they
even this
should.
podcast. Yeah. Where it's like, okay, I have him with me, and he's
Yeah,
he's gonna get tired and he's gonna get hungry, and it just is gonna happen. So
right.
even though I'm not giving the most succinct, the answers that I wish I could, it is. And that is
Yeah.
all that is.
Yeah, and I love it. And I think more people are kind of like opening up and being aware of that and like moms that are like working and doing things and stuff, companies or even just people are becoming more understanding. Like, I mean, there is no problem that you are nursing your child right now and that we are doing this. Like, that's beautiful. And I think like that's the way that it should be. And just to be able to like not be like, oh, I have to, go hide or go over here and do this to take care of my child. It's like, no, I'm still existing in this world and my child needs to eat or this is what's happening, my child is throwing a tantrum in the middle of a store, yes, so be it. Like,
Right. Yeah, and just letting go of being concerned about other people's
right.
opinion, which I
Yeah.
think is such a
Yeah.
huge thing to get over as moms. Like, we think it's a reflection on us when they're tantruming in the store, and it's like,
Right.
instead of being there with the tantrum, you're worried about the stranger and what they're
Right.
thinking. That's
Right.
just not
Yeah. Yeah,
not
because
the
nobody's
point.
worried. Like, nobody's like, "Oh my gosh, that person needs to shut their child up."
Right.
Especially other
Right.
moms, they're like, "Oh, wow, I hope she's okay," or "I wish I could
Right.
help," like that, or, "Oh,
Right.
I've been there. I've
Mhm.
done that." They're not like, and I mean, maybe some people get annoyed with it, but
The fellow mothers don't. I need to,
yeah.
like, write that down. Yeah.
Yeah, the fellow moms, we're all supporting each other and
Yeah.
accommodating for those things. So
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's important. And I think there's definitely like a shift in that happening, and kind of
Mhm.
like allowing moms to be moms. So
Mhm. Yeah.
so it's
Totally. Totally.
so is there anything else that you wanted to add, or do you want to tell us how we can find you? Or I know that you said your Instagram.
Yes. Yes. So you can find me on Instagram at Feel at Home Yoga, and same with Facebook. I'm more active on Instagram, but um I have a Facebook as well. And then um you can also find me at feelathomeyoga.com. So my website, and that's where you can pre-register for the Mindfulness for Moms program and get more information about me and that there.
Perfect. If you're ready, like, we can jump into the guided meditation that you have planned for us as a little extra added bonus on the end here.
Yes, for sure, for sure. So, okay, to start, this is fun, Sarah. You get to do this along with me. Um, so you'll just find a comfortable seat. If you're comfortable where you are, you can stay right where you are. Or you can, for those listening at home, you can lie down on your bed, on the floor, on a yoga mat if you'd like. Just find somewhere comfortable that you feel like you can settle in. I'm sitting, my back is supported against this headboard that we discussed. But I like to have a little support behind my back just so that I can rest. And let your shoulders relax away from your ears. Let out any wiggles, fidgets, little movements you need to settle in to stillness here. Once you feel ready, you can slowly blink your eyes closed, or if you don't want to blink your eyes closed, you can just take a soft gaze at something in front of you. And just take a minute to ground yourself here in this moment, noticing where you make contact with the ground or the chair or the bed, wherever you're sitting, just notice where you are meeting the ground. And let your breath slow down here, drawing some awareness to your breath, letting it expand your belly open on the inhale, and slowly release the breath on the exhale. Breathing in and out of your nose or your mouth, whatever feels best, maybe a combination of the two. And throughout this little mindfulness exercise, this guided meditation that we're going to do, there are bound to be distractions. Your mind is bound to come up with other thoughts. A lot of us have kids, they may run into the room and leave the room. That's totally fine. Just let that happen and come back to the exercise when you can. If your mind wanders, just draw it back. So as you're here in this relaxed state, we're going to do a stress management exercise. So call to mind something that is causing the most stress in your life right now. Try to pick the thing that's most stressful. And as that comes into your mind, give it a shape. Maybe it's a circle or a square, triangle. Maybe it's none of these. Whatever comes into your head first as the shape of this stressor, just visualize that here. So this stressor has a shape. Now give it a color. Maybe it's white or red, blue, yellow, maybe something totally different. Just envision the shape and the color of the stressor. See the edges of it. Are they smooth or soft, sharp? And what's the texture of this entire stressor? Maybe it's wavy, smooth like glass. Maybe it's soft like a blanket. Maybe it's sharp or bumpy. Visualize every part. And next, slowly take your mind's eye around the outside edge of the shape, whether it's a perfect square or it's some crazy flat or unknown shape. Follow around the entire thing. Take your time tracing it. And once you get all the way around it, visualize the very center of this stressor. Is it the same color shape as the rest of the vision that you've created? Maybe it's a slightly paler color or a slightly darker color. And just allow yourself to face this core of the stressor. Just looking at it in your mind. I know it might be kind of tough to just stare it down, but try to let yourself do that. Don't shy away from it. Face it. And then slowly begin to visualize backing away from the vision of this stressor that you've created in your mind. Slowly walking away from it, taking a peek back at it every few steps and noticing that it's kind of fading. Its edges are softer, its color is a little bit lighter. The whole thing is a little bit blurrier the farther and farther away you get from it. And let where you're walking be filled with warmth and sunlight, just softness, comfort. noticing that that stressor that was once so sharp and so close and almost holding control over you has slowly lost its edge. And then draw your awareness back to your breathing. Notice where you are here, again, making contact with the ground in the room that you are in. Take a deep inhale, and on the exhale, gently blink your eyes open when you're ready. Letting go of any remaining tension in your shoulders, wiggling, fidgeting, coming back to your room. And take on this feeling of that stress just being lighter on you. Let that come with you the rest of the day. And that's the end.
Well, this wraps up yet another episode of Entering Motherhood. I hope that you have found this episode helpful, and if you liked it, please share it with others who might also benefit from this information. If there's anything that you'd like to know more about, or maybe you know someone who'd like to be on the show, please visit my website, enteringmotherhood.com. I'm so thrilled to be going on this journey with you and getting the amazing opportunity to help moms during this postpartum experience.